a mother, a doomsday cult, two missing children, and a trail of mysterious deaths. This is not fiction. It's the real story of Lori Vallow Daybell, a woman who believed the world was ending and that her children were no longer alive, but possessed. But how did a suburban mom go from family vacations to facing life in prison? This is Case Zero, and this is the Lori Vallow case. Before the headlines, before the missing posters, before the graves, Lori Vallow was just a mom, living in the suburbs, going to church, raising her kids. She was bright, friendly, and beautiful, the kind of woman people looked up to in her community. She married 3 times, had 3 kids, and for a while, everything looked normal. But something was always off. She began reading books about the end of the world, about light and dark spirits, and who was chosen to survive the coming apocalypse. And then she met him, Chad Daybell. Chad Daybell wasn't a famous preacher. He wasn't even a leader. But in his mind, he was a prophet. A former gravedigger turned doomsday author, Chad wrote dozens of books about spiritual visions, the afterlife, and the end of the world. He claimed to see beyond the veil, to communicate with angels, and to know who was light and who was dark. In 2018, Lori met Chad at a religious event in Utah. Something clicked. They shared beliefs, obsessions, delusions. They believed the world would end in July 2020, and only 144,000 would be saved. But there was one problem. Lori's children didn't fit into their new world, and soon they disappeared. Joshua J.J. Vallow was 7 years old, bright, energetic, and autistic. His sister Tylee Ryan was 16, smart, protective, and fierce. In September 2019, both children vanished, without a trace. Lori had moved them from Arizona to Idaho. She told people Tylee was in college and that JJ was with relatives. No one saw the kids again. Concerned relatives called the police. Officers showed up at Lori's door and asked a simple question: "Where are your children?" She smiled, lied, and flew to Hawaii with Chad the next day. For months, the children were missing, and for months, Lori and Chad refused to say a word. Until police searched Chad Daybell's backyard. They found the remains of JJ and Tylee buried just steps from Chad's home. When the truth came out, it was worse than anyone imagined. JJ was wrapped in plastic, his arms bound with duct tape. Tylee was dismembered and burned, her remains so damaged they barely identified her. Lori was charged with conspiracy to commit murder, Chad too. In 2023, Lori stood trial. She didn't cry, she didn't flinch, she didn't show a shred of remorse. Prosecutors painted a picture of religious delusion, manipulation, and calculated evil. The jury took just 6 hours. Verdict: guilty. Lori was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Chad's trial is next. But wait. What if I told you the children weren't the only ones who died? The husband, Charles Vallow, shot in cold blood by Lori's own brother, and she laughed about it hours later. The wife, Tammy Daybell, healthy, 49, dead in her sleep. Chad said it was a cough. Turns out she was suffocated. The henchman, Alex Cox, the loyal brother, the trigger man, the gravedigger, dead just before they found the bodies. Everyone close to Lori ended up dead. A circle of death, hidden in prophecies and sealed with a wedding ring. This wasn't a love story. This wasn't faith. This was a cult, hiding behind a mother's smile. This was Case Zero, and evil doesn't end here.